Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're vlogging because I don't have a tripod that, works. So tripods cost a lot of money. So if you guys can like and subscribe, you can help me get a tripod so I don't have to vlog. But today we're actually going to be installing a P3 gauge in this car. It's going to look super cool. I'm really excited for it. Hopefully it comes out pretty good. All right, so firstly, I'd just like to say a huge thank you and huge shout out to Jake from P3 Gauges. He hooked me up with all these accessories for the gauge. So we got our little OBD splitter right here. We got our OBD plug itself. We got our little board. I think this is for plugging in like external gauges. You can just hook them up there and then program them. And then you got your three P3 gauges sticker right here. You got this super sweet GTI. I actually have a friend of mine who has this car, so I'm gonna give him this sticker later. Then we got our little control box. This goes from OBD to the gauge, so it can actually basically translate what's going on into numbers. You got two little pieces that look like you can hang them from your mirror maybe. And we got the gauge itself. So this gauge is basically going to slide in where the internal parts of your OEM gauge are. I'll show you how to do that. You can see the cable just runs off of there. Should be pretty easy install. Let's get right into it. So to get your OEM vent out right here, you're only going to need a couple tools. You're going to need just a basic trim tool, and then you're going to need a screwdriver with a Phillips head bit on it. So first thing you want to go ahead and do is just feel on the bottom of this panel. You're going to feel like a little hole, little notch right down there. You're going to take your trim tool, you're going to stick it in there and start prying out on it. The panel should just pop off pretty easily. A couple clips, comes right off. So what you want to do now is take out this little screw that's in here that's actually holding this trim piece in. All right, once that screws out, what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab right around here, and you're gonna grab right about the top right here, pull right out. Everything's gonna come out super easy. And that is going to expose one new bolt right inside of there. That's the bolt that's holding in your OEM vent. You're gonna go ahead and take that bolt out. To get that screw out, you're gonna find that the OEM vent is literally just gonna pull right out. Just grab on it. It's gonna have like a couple clips on the top right there and right there, you just saw. Pull on it, comes right out super easy. All right, so if you got the vent like I got, or the gauge like I got that doesn't come inside of an OEM vent, what you're gonna wanna do is take your OEM vent right here. You're gonna wanna look on the back of it. Find there's gonna be three little clips that look like this around the gauge. What you're gonna wanna do is undo those clips, and the inner part of this gauge right here is gonna just come out. So yeah, ideally you're holding your vent when you do it so it doesn't fall like it did, but once you're done you can get rid of this piece, put it off to the side. We're going to be working on this piece right now. So what you're going to want to do is look on the back of it. You're going to find this screw that's in the middle right here. You're going to want to go ahead and undo that screw. That's going to allow you to separate the two pieces of this inner housing, and we're going to slide the vent right where this piece is. So once you have this inner piece taken out, you can go ahead and look at this little frame piece. You want to note where this upper notch is, because this is going to sit at the top of the vent. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to run the cable from this vent right here. When you look at the notch right here, you want to, at the top, you're going to run the cable through this side right there. So once you've inserted the gauge and ran the cable, you're going to want to put the included screw that they gave you right into here. That'll hold the gauge in place. Alright, once that screw's been put into place, the gauge is going to be super stable. It's not going to move around much at all. Then at that point, you're going to want to just go ahead and slide it back into this frame piece that you took it out of initially. So coming back to the car here, once we have our vent gauge situation taken care of, what we're going to want to do is take the cable that's running off of it right here, and you want to run it right underneath where the air channel itself is. You want to run it right under there. You're going to find a nice, perfectly situated hole. Kind of want to run it right through there. It's going to come out the other side right here. Just run that all the way through. And once that's good and set, you can go ahead and carefully place the gauge and the vent right back into place. If you've done everything correctly, the cable should be coming off of right here, and it shouldn't be pinched or anything up here. All right, now comes the fun part. So I have my dash cam plugged in via OBD right here. So I'm gonna just unplug that first. So what I'm gonna do is run the included or optional OBD2 splitter from P3 gauges, and plug the dash cam into one end and the gauge into the other. My dash cam only uses power, so this shouldn't be a problem. If you have some other accessory plugged into OBD trying to pull data, then you might have problems running this splitter. But we're gonna try it out for the dash cam and see if it works. Okay, so having plugged in both ends of the splitter, we now have our open OBD plug right here. What we're gonna go ahead and do is grab the control box that came in your kit. It'll look like this. You're gonna take your gauge cable right here. You're gonna plug it into your control box. This control box, I would put it somewhere inside of the dashboard. Then what you're gonna wanna do is take the OBD connector right here that also came with your gauge. Plug the one end into your control box. And then you can just kind of tuck it to the side for now, and then just worry about the OBD end. And before we close everything up, I am going to turn on the ignition and check that both my dash cam and this gauge turn on. Off camera, I just tucked everything up into the dashboard. Turns out with this panel, when you undo this bolt, you can pull out the whole panel, except for the plug for the trunk and the plug for the dimmer switch. I did just kind of leave it hanging here, but gave me plenty of room to just tuck up all my cables. Plugged in both the P3 gauge and my dash cam, confirmed that they both work. It turns out the P3 gauge, at least for initial setup, you have to make sure that the engine's actually turned on, because I had the ignition switched on and I thought it would turn on, but it didn't, and I got really concerned. Turns out you need to have the engine on for it to actually show anything. So after having learned that, plugged everything up, turns out it works just fine. So go ahead and put the panel back and the screw and everything back, and yeah, that's it. We should be all good. All right, turning on the ignition right here. The gauge comes to life. So to cycle through this, let me actually get this plastic off. Oh, I got it fully installed. We can properly enjoy it. Yeah, to cycle through your gauges, you just push this button. So this is going to be your boost. Obviously, I have negative boost. I don't have a turbo. This is going to be your coolant temperature. Is going to be your speed if you just want a speedo here. And get your battery voltage. And get your, I don't know what the hell that is. I think it's just RPMs, I guess. That's probably RPMs. You got your oil temperature right there. Do not even know what that is. And then yep, there's a bunch of stuff. I'll figure this all out later, promise. But yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Got your throttle percentage, throttle input. Oh yeah, so you got your throttle input percentage right there. Got your air fuel ratio if you want to look at that. Got your 0 to 60 timer, you can actually do it. So it'll like track how long it takes you to get to 60. Pretty cool. And get back to boost again. But yeah, I'm gonna do a full review on this gauge and like walk you through it, exactly how to use it and everything in the next video. So if that's what you're interested in, stick around. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.